and welcome to my garden and the dinosaurs who live there. Well, I think we've all experienced some wild and wacky June weather so far in the UK. It's not been as bad as some places here in Scotland, but it hasn't been very good at all. I have been grabbing time in between showers and high winds to do my June garden tour. So here it is, and I hope you can make out what I'm saying at some point when it's really windy. But yeah, the garden in summary is very green with splashes of colour and some highs and some lows where my veg growing is concerned. So take a look, see what you think. So my broad beans are taking a bit of a battering in this weather. I've already lost the top off one. I'm trying to support them as best I can do. Hopefully the wind will die down before anything else breaks. But they've had lots of flowers on, and if I just go around here, can we see in here, we're just starting to get the first beans forming. So these have been quite, they've done really well, and I thought they've been quite ahead of the game, but we're in Scotland, and so eventually down south catches up and there's lots of folk down south already harvesting their beans, and I've only got some pods just forming. Jeepers, I just hope that they hang on. Where's this wind came from? The lettuces in this veg truck are doing well. In fact, they're really nearing pick now. I think these cross ones are just about done. So I better get them picked and eaten. I've been taking the outside leaves off and eating those. The rest of the bed is mostly beetroot, except for a couple of these radish which have bolted, I think. Yes. Look at the size of it, and that's what the radish looks like. So I think these can come out because they were slightly bigger, maybe a mouthful. More radishes in this pot, getting a bit crowded, but I'll pull some out so that I can get some slightly larger radishes. Ouch, it's jaggy. Some sweet peas that I happened to purchase, but I think I'm not going to get much out of them up here. By the time they start to get big enough to flower, I probably won't, we'll probably be in the autumn, so I'll pop them in somewhere, but I don't hold out much hope for those. And here are some Zebrun shallots that I grew from seed, and my anti-squirrel barricade there, just to dissuade them from going in and digging. So they're lonely little shallots in there, but we'll see if we get anything. Lolo Rosso lettuce is doing fine, and there is, what have I got around this? Some radish certainly, and don't know what they are. What do they look like? Lettuce? Probably lettuce. Over here the perpetual spinach is continuing to give me a crop. Looks like there's a couple of beetroot in there, and my parsley is gone to seed, but I will chop that back and hopefully it will come back again later when it gets cooler. Not that it's particularly warm in this glorious June weather, not. And over here we have more spinach and more beetroot. Up on the table here, my carrots look like they're doing well. There's 2 pots of carrots, one there and one there. So I'm not going to get, you know, a supply that's going to last me for a long time, but it's really the first time that I've been this successful in growing carrots in pots. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having some little carrots to chomp on. And I've put some more beetroot in that basin there. These kitchen basins, £2 in Morrison's. You can probably get them even less in pound shops. I've not had a look, but they're great. I've got lettuces in some, and I've got this one with beetroot in. And as you can see, I've got to sort of put up little barricades because of the squirrels, because they'll come and dig things up, and it's a bit of a pain. The chickens can't get them up here, but the squirrels sure can. And around these are the chrysanthemums I got at Gardening Scotland a couple of weeks ago, and I potted them on, and they're really strong, growing really strongly. Most impressed with them. So I'll be popping them in a larger pot at some point. And then a little pot of chard just starting off there. It is a bit of a mess out here at the minute. Right, so what have we got along here? We've got 3 teddy bear sunflowers, and we've got some more spinach, and then we've got some more parsley that's just gone to seed. A few little marigolds there. And then we have some flowers. Calendula, yes. And then some sage, and some more spinach, and some more parsley. This parsley I bought in little pots in the supermarket, and I'm just going to grow it from there. And here we have some of my spare onions I put into pots, which aren't really doing that well, to be fair, but I'm eating them as spring onions. And there is a little lonely couple of radishes in there too. I'm just trying to grow as much as I can in the space that I have. And then we have coreopsis, these flowers are, and you can see I'm getting flower heads now. These were £2 each at the supermarket. I got 3 of them. I got 3 last year, and they flowered their socks off all summer. So I'm hoping that they'll do the same, these plants. Another couple of little red onions. Oh, one of my new purchases of hosta. This one's called O'Hara, a little dinky one. Another little lonely onion. I ate its companion as a spring onion. The hosta on the deck is going mad, and it's more or less untouched by nasties. Some of the leaves have broken just because they've bent over and been blown over. But this one, don't know what variety it is, but it is a happy big hosta. And the clematis that I tried to kill off because I didn't really like the flowers is flowering its socks off as well. And over here we've got a little strawberry. There's a wind getting up. A little strawberry in that pot. And you can see I've got some little strawberries. Yay! Oh, hello girls. You got up? There. What else have we got? These poppies that just self-seeded themselves. They do better and better each year actually. There's a lovely big clump there. And we've got some across here. And some a little bit further down. And looking down the side of the house, this hosta is starting to get eaten, as you can see. The snails just crawl up the rough cast of the house and then just pop on and have a meal. This one obviously isn't as tasty as the other one, so it isn't getting quite as eaten. And here's some more of my basins, my £2 basins. This is little gem lettuce, and it's going great guns. I'm sort of hoping, if I just move that away from the wall, that the snails don't get up and start munching on these. And here's some more spinach that's going a bit mad. And if I turn around, here's the tomato house. So the tomatoes are doing okay. We're starting to get flowers. Not lots of flowers, it has to be said. Sort of disappointed, to be fair, for the size of the plants. This one here, I've had to lop the top off because it's reached the top of the grow house. Yeah, and it's only got one truss of flowers as far as I can tell. Oh no, two, there's one at the top as well. So that's rubbish. So I just guess it got long and rangy and hasn't thrown out any more trusses. So that's a big disappointment, that one. What variety is that? Why don't I have the stick in it? Because I did have. Oh, there it is. Yellow Delight. So that was the first one that grew really strongly. But yeah, I think it lulled me into a false sense of security, that one. But the others are doing not bad. Peppers, on the other hand, the ones I've grown from seed, are rubbish as well. Don't understand it at all. They are just stunted, they're just not growing. Yeah, so that's a big disappointment. And here's my last remaining Italian white sunflower, which is partially attacked. Had some green fly on it and don't know what's done that. So it's hanging on in there, but not great. There's some more little peppers. They're looking a bit yellowy. My last remaining cucumber, again, not growing tremendously well. To be fair, the site of this grow house isn't perfect. It's the only place I could fit it in the garden. It doesn't get direct sunlight all day, even when it is sunny. It gets it for about 2/3 of the day. So, I don't know. We'll just have to make do. We'll just have to make do. I've got some other tomatoes outside, so hopefully I'll get more toms from them. Hanging baskets are starting to come into their own, and this other clematis, this is the back of it. I'll just go round to the front. All a bit clumped because it's actually too big for its location now, but starting to get lots of flowers. Now here in the rather overprotected tub is one of the Romanesco cauliflowers that I'm growing this year for the very first time. And look at that. Oh, so this stuff is rubbish. I'm just going to say now out loud. Can you see there's a leaf in there that's been chewed, and that's down at ground level. So a snail or slug has got in there and has chewed that. Yeah, not impressed. Maybe put some oyster shell in there as another backup. Yeah, so Romanesco cauliflower, I'm growing a few. There's one there, and there's one down here, and there's one here that hasn't been protected, and I actually overdosed in this stuff. It expands when you when you put it on, so it's all going a bit crazy, but it doesn't look like it's that good anyway, so I'll pop it in there. And I've got a few others still in the grow house to bring out. Courgettes. Courgettes have not done well at all. Here's one. What's it called again? Sure Thing. Not Sure Thing in my case. It's been a bit chewed. There's a flower there that's sort of gone. It's just about surviving, looking a bit peaky. Here's another one here. That again is looking a bit, it's barely surviving. So I don't know, I'm not having a very good year for courgettes. I've got some others, but they're tiny, so I don't know if I'll actually get much in the way of courgettes this year. Although look here, I actually bought one and it's got a little tiny courgette on it. This is a yellow ball courgette, so we'll see if we can get something from that. I'll pot that on. It looks like it needs some nitrogen, I think. My peas are flowering, so that's looking promising for getting some nice pea pods or some nice peas in a few weeks' time. These little onions down here aren't doing much at all, but I'll just use them as spring onions as and when. This parsley's getting a little bit above itself, but it's doing okay. And while I'm here, here's my peony with lots of flower buds on, but they're still tightly closed. And on this little terrace bed, there's a couple of hostas that are doing really well. This one, okay, it's plain green, but a bit of a wave to the leaf, and it seems to be unbitten, unchewed at all. No slug or snail damage whatsoever, although if this wind keeps up there might be wind damage. And then this one down here is pretty much the same. Obviously the bed might have something to do with it, maybe not as slug infested and snail infested, but no, I'm really pleased with that. Meanwhile, over on the opposite side of the steps, you can see this little one just didn't stand a chance. I had the copper ring round it, but because there's so much else so much other foliage around, the slugs and snails just hop from one plant to the other without even going onto the ground. So that's dead, really. Well, it's not dead, but it's chewed just about to death. It'll come back next year though. Beans. Here are my Berlotti beans. Some getting a bit chewed there. That's more there. But sort of hanging on in there, not really near enough the pole to go up it. This brown stuff is I think I showed you in an earlier video, it comes as pellets and it's straw. And then when it gets wet, it disintegrates into this, what's meant to be a sort of jaggy surface that slugs and snails don't want to go across. Well, obviously I'm getting chewed leaves there, but you know, it could well be that the snails are just coming up this little thing I've put in to protect from the chickens eating things, and probably the snails are getting in that way. So it's a blooming no-win. But anyway, hopefully they will grow up and I'll get some beans. I think I've got a couple of spares that I can pop in there as necessary. And the climbing beans, the French beans, much the same, I think. Yeah, there's some chunks out of things, but starting to, well, that one looks a bit dead. I think I've got a couple of spears of that as well, so we'll see if we can manage to get some of those to go up the wigwams. So yeah, I have a bit of a potato forest happening, or if you look at it from up here, a potato sea. Starting to get some flowers on some of the varieties. I think that's the Estima ones that are giving me some flowers. But I was sort of relatively late in putting the potatoes in their pots, so I figure I've got another few weeks before I actually do any harvesting at all. And I just can't wait, because lots of people are doing potato reveals on their channels, but I'm going to have to sit tight and wait a little bit longer. This is my jade plant or money plant that I had over winter taken to my office, but I've brought it back home for its summer holiday. So he's sitting out here on the coffee table on the patio and looking okay. I think really we need to repot and certainly get refresh some of that compost. So I've bought some cactus compost and I'll get a slightly larger pot and do that over the next couple of weeks. I have propagated from this jade quite a lot, and I will make a video on what I do to do that when I get the chance. But just for now, this is my lovely money plant or jade. So here's a trough with some garlic in. This is Picardy. I think it's probably Picardy white. I was late with my garlic and this didn't go in until February, so I have no idea if I'm going to get anything that resembles a decent bulb. But my plan is just to leave this as late as I can do and see what happens. But of course February didn't give us any decent cold temperatures, so whether I get decent bulbs, I doubt I will, but I just wanted to get something in. I usually do what everyone else does and plant garlic in the autumn time, but I failed this year because I just didn't get organised. So yeah, probably small bulbs if any, but you know, got to try. Here's a little trough that has some potatoes, some onions in that are starting to grow, reasonably sized. Well, yeah, beyond spring onion sized anyway. And there's a little random radish in there as well that I'm just waiting to harvest. So really my onions are all over the place. Stop it, ow, ow, ow. I'm just getting stabbed by Colin, who is putting his paw with his claws out on my leg because he wants some attention, don't you? Yes, you do. You're a naughty boy. Yes, anyway, so onions in a variety of locations around the garden. A bit too densely packed as well, I think. But again, if I can get some small ones, I'm quite happy with that for this year. Look at the neck of this potager bed. Yeah, so the onions are growing tall and the garlic is growing tall, and yeah, it's all getting a little bit of a muddle, but you live and you learn. And yeah, I'm still happy to give it a try again next year, maybe with a different combination of veg and flowers. Next door we have some of the beetroot that I'm growing, and again quite densely packed, but happy in its own little way. And to the other side of this potager bed, another little trough that has 3 beetroot and 3 celeriac. And yeah, they're doing well. Very happy with that. Thanks very much for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, it would be great for you to subscribe so you can follow me in my chicken keeping and gardening journey. And if you click the bell, you'll be alerted when I post any new videos. Thanks very much for now. Bye bye.